guys, happy Saturday. I wanted to come on here to talk about the value of seeing a holistic practitioner, how to identify when you're working with a good one, and also the right questions to ask and how to educate yourself to make sure that you are empowered, because otherwise, unfortunately, we just don't get enough support, and that can be, frustrating at best. Now, yesterday I went to see a gynecologist. It wasn't my normal gynecologist because mine is in Porto, and since I'm going to Porto now to run a yoga branch, I didn't want to go up and down yesterday, and I couldn't stay in Porto after the appointment because I had to teach. So it was very unfortunate. But I realized that I had just such a bad experience. I had such a bad experience with the doctor at the hospital. Now, bear in mind, I go to a private practitioner. I do not go to the social security or like to the social health, and because it takes very long, and I just want to get it done with, and I'm just like in and out. I just want an appointment there. Like I have a question I want to see, and that's it. And it's not too expensive. Like you can save for it easily. So I did that, and I noticed that when I went in there, first of all, she was delayed, and nobody at reception even cared to give me a little bit of a heads up. And I even in the NHS in London, in my practice, in the practice where I used to be going with my GP, they were always so amazing. Like shout out to Newton Center in Bayswater because they were amazing. Just very thoughtful. Like they would tell you if you had to wait a little longer. They were just nice and kind. If you're kind to them, they were super kind to you. Or if you're rude to them, well, of course. But amazing. I never had any issues. They were super friendly and nice. Even replied to email. I mean, amazing. Here, I just had like a shock. No telling that she was late. I'm waiting 40 minutes. Then of course I'm paying for the appointment. So I'm like, at least 3 people, like a little bit better. And she, as I went in, she was stoic. Like she didn't have any emotions. She didn't care about learning about me. And that was such a shock because obviously my gynecologist in Porto is very holistic. And when I went there the first time, she literally wanted to know everything. She didn't even ask questions. I was telling her things. And I noticed that she didn't even understand what I was talking about. I had adrenal fatigue a little. I gave her a little bit of history, but she just was like, "Did you have any problems with your reproductive system?" I was like, well, not directly, but she just didn't care. So the ignorance, unfortunately, of the holistic picture. Like, hey, don't you want to know? I'm in my 40s. I am gonna enter perimenopause if I'm not already there. Things are changing. She just didn't know what to talk about. She just didn't know any. Honestly, unfortunately, like I didn't think she knows anything. So that was a sad thing to see, but because I know I'm like navigating, I just felt very disappointed that there was just no interest in learning anything about the patient, me. So I was like, okay, that took 5 minutes. She got me in and out so quickly. I was like, okay, well, I paid 50, at least in 10 minutes, right? Anyway, then I went to actually a lab that is also private for my blood routine test, and they were so friendly. I was just like, oh thank God, just like balanced out. But point is, it was just really disheartening and very disillusioning for me. And I noticed that even with the holistic practitioner, sometimes you can find someone that is just not going to be engaged in properly. And because we have access to so much online resources with doctors that are really excellent, they write books, they are public speakers, they put the standards quite high. Unfortunately, a lot of the times that doesn't translate in the rest of the practitioners that are in the same field giving the right amount of care for their patients or clients. And so this is something that really frustrates me. This is also why I am starting the Inner Circle. This is also why I truly care to implement this this method of education for my clients, current and future, because ultimately, guys, you are responsible for your health, and you have to take complete ownership of it. Because when you go to a doctor that is not interested, that is not engaged, that doesn't take care, you're going to be left baffled, especially if you don't understand your body and the metabolic pathways that are happening in your body, if you don't understand hormones, if you don't understand the things that are going on. This is especially valid for, this is for everyone and for any kind of doctors you go to. But for me as a woman, when I go to a gynecologist who is a woman, for Pete's sake, I want you to actually align with me as a woman, explaining what's going on and understanding that hormones can be tricky, that stress can be, is an important factor in how we feel, in our reproductive health. None of that. With the inner circle, my aim, my mission, my vision is to educate everyone, to educate you about nutrition, about hormones, about different stages in our lives. Why is this important? For you as a person, because ultimately as we go through life, we have changes happening. If you have children, you want to know what's going on, because then you can be their teacher. I can tell you this inner circle thought that my plan, my project will not only change life, but save money. And I am fed up with people getting ripped off. I really am. Even when it comes to, sometimes I feel ripped off when I go to a holistic practitioner and I'm like, well, I know what I'm talking about and I don't agree with you and I don't think you're doing it right and it's really disappointing. And it is really disappointing because they are attached to a philosophy. So the other thing now I know I am plant-based, I'm vegan, so yes, I have a philosophy towards plants, but I also am backed by science. A whole food plant-based diet is the best diet you can follow. Does it have to be exclusive? Scientifically, not. Scientifically, if you have things like fish in your diet, like a Mediterranean approach with some saturated fat from animal products, the benefits of plants are not wiped out by the saturated fats or animal products. However, as an ethical vegan, of course I want people to say, you have the option to go completely fully plant-based and manage everything, and you can do it properly, and you can work with your hormones, and you don't have to hurt living beings. Choose that. I will do that because that's the right ethical thing to do. There is also another layer. Spirituality comes into play. We are not just bodies, we are much more than that. And I have experienced for myself the energetics of food and how it impacted me and how it does now that I don't need that anymore. So I want to share that, I want to teach that, but equally I want to make sure that I give people the right information. So when we talk about science, we're going to talk about science like in this way. Hey, a whole food plant-based diet is the first step, and then if you want to add certain things, this is what science shows. And this is the option you have if you choose to also add ethics to it, which I really, really promote highly, and I really want people to really tap into because it is important. And the planet is suffering, and we really have a responsibility as ushers on this planet to step it up, okay? But again, it's without judgment, it's without, because I have learned throughout the years. I used to be quite pushy when it came to veganism because I love it, because I think it's the right thing to do. And when you see animals, it's insane to kill them for food when we don't have to. We're not surviving. But people don't like to be pushed. They resent you, and they also become resistant, and they step away from you. And that's not conducive to any changes in their lifestyle for their health, any changes for the animals. In fact, that attitude might even trigger people saying, F you, I'm gonna go carnivore. Trust me, sometimes the ego performs in ways that is insanely unique. Let's just put it that way. So you teach that to people, and you do it in a compassionate way. And this is the inner circle. It's science-based with the morality attached to it. People can make choices. Equally, however, we talk about everything. We talk about also health. And so what if you have diseases? So after the lessons, which happen once a month, there is a Q&A. In the Q&A, we talk about case studies. This is something that is you. You are part of the team of the inner circle, and you will have questions. And any question that you are sharing for whatever is happening with you, whether you have ailments or not, we're going to tap into it and use it as a case study. Now, this is only accessible to people that are on the inner circle. So if you want to empower yourself with knowledge, you want to be on top of your health, you want to be able to go to a doctor and actually stand your ground with your health and not be shoved right, left, and center, this is the course for you. I will put also some feedback from my clients because their life has changed. They are feeling better. And even though some of them are sometimes falling off the rails, they're going back to their knowledge, and this is the power. We don't have to be perfect. We don't have to look perfect. We don't have to get it always right, but we have to make steps forward. And how do you make good choices if you don't have knowledge? You can't, because you're going to perpetuate the wrong information that you've been told. People literally think that they know about nutrition by watching TV and reading magazines. Trust me when I say that's not the case. Trust me when I say that that's a very dangerous path to follow. I have seen it with my parents, or my dad especially, who watches the news, sees a highlight or headline, and then follow that headline as if it's gospel without even looking at the actual article or listening carefully to what that means. Unfortunately, this is the problem with media and social media. We do not think that perhaps our way, we have to dissect every information that we have, because ultimately headlines are to sell news, and they have to be shocking and appealing, and they have to have a wow factor. So I want to make sure that you know how to look at things. This is something I truly value. Now, the inner circle we start at the end of April. It's once a month on a Sunday, so a Sunday afternoon everybody can join. And if you can't join on the day, you will have access to the recording, the resources for downloading and everything, whatever. I will put them as private videos actually on YouTube, so that you can actually have access to the link, whatever. I probably will back them up on another platform just in case YouTube goes haywire, as they tend to do. So this is something that will happen. And then of course the resources for you to download and print and learn. There are no exams, there is no certification, but for all means and purposes, it's actually designed to be a course. And it's accessible. So you have two choices. You have the choice to join for €15 per month, or £15 a month, pardon me, wrong currency, £15 a month, and you can just access everything as I mentioned, but you will have access to me by message and email when you need it. Or you can join for £150 a year. You can join and have a 30-minute session with me, private session, if you have any questions, and that can be taken at any point through the course. So if you are starting and learning things, and then things come up for you that you want to learn more about, you can book it then. It doesn't have to be at the beginning. It doesn't have to be an introductory call. It can be anytime, plus of course access to me by WhatsApp and by email. So this is what I'm offering, and I'm also going to think about bringing in speakers for occasional events that we can do online, some classes that we can do online sometimes, and cooking classes once a month. So there is a lot in the package. It's really, really worth it. The value of this is over €5,000, and I know that you might, or pounds, and you might think, well, why would you give it for 150? Business wise, this is crazy. I'm not gonna lie, crazy. But I also really care to make sure that this is accessible to people. I know people are struggling, and for me it's like, why don't I make it more accessible but also reach out to more people? So if you're interested, please sign up, but also, and get in touch with me, and we can talk about it. I am happy to have short 15 minutes calls also to talk about this before you sign up. If you have any questions, I'll answer. Share it with your friends, share it with your family. £150 a year, it's nothing. It's an investment in your health when you can't invest in a private one-to-one coaching, when you want to learn, when you can't afford a course. Trust me, I'm still studying, and it's thousands of dollars a month, and I'm dollars because I'm mostly studying in the US system, or when I do it with the UK, it's pounds. I have invested upwards of £30,000 in my education up to now, and this will continue because I'm an eternal student and I love to be, because quite honestly, knowledge evolves and we need to keep going with that evolution. And when we stop learning, which is sadly what happens with a lot of doctors who just don't have the time or the will to learn more, they're like, well, I went to school, I learned that. But it changes. You have to be up to speed with everything. Things are changing. There is more awareness. Science is evolving. Diagnostics change. You want to know the best. Look, I love modern medicine for the diagnostics. Like, honestly, everybody that talks to me knows how I love the fact that you can do blood tests now and check for like nutrition, like nutrients, and you couldn't check for before. That ApoB is starting to be talked about and we can check it. So many things. And so I feel like that's so important, and this is the value of the inner circle. This is the value that my clients get. Even the clients that are actually doing the one-to-one with me are keen to do the inner circle to learn about nutrition much more. This is how committed people are to their health, and I want to invite you to join us. I want to invite you to think about the next step for you. This is also a great way for you to know, maybe if you are passionate about the subject and you're thinking maybe I should study something like that, this will give you the basic knowledge, and then perhaps you can invest in a course later, become a coach if you want to become a holistic practitioner. Whatever you desire, this is going to be a great platform for you to get the basics right. So I invite you to explore this with me, and you guys know I'm always humble. If I don't know something, I will say it, I will research it, and I will share it. I have changed my mind about things throughout the years by learning new things, and I have that right, and I think everybody should reserve that right not to be just in one lane when there's knowledge that comes to the surface and challenges what you've known before, because ultimately we need to serve people, we need to help people. We can't just think that we know everything all the time and it's going to always be the same. That's stupid, really. That's like the epitome of stupidity, and unfortunately we are we are like that sometimes as humans. So wanted to share this, and if you're aligning, if you're resonating, please do join me for the inner circle. All the details